Tomorrow, the Biden administration is set to begin rolling out a new immigration screening policy at 2 Texas detention facilities. Nick is at our NewsNation Smart Board with a look at the changes.
Yeah, Adrienne, this new policy follows Title 42, the public health order that restricted legal border crossings. What's really cool about this is that under this new policy, it will allow asylum officers to either accept or reject an individual person's claim for asylum and protection. So migrants and their families will be placed into what's called expedited removal. If that asylum seeker's claim is rejected, they will then get to see a judge. They've always been able to see a judge, but a case that usually took years can now take as little as 90 days. President Biden and his administration believe that this could help to expedite the process. Adrienne?
All right, thank you so much. For more on this, we want to bring in our friend, Niall Stanage from The Hill. Thank you so much, Niall, for being with us. There's this backlog that Nick was talking about. It would take up to 4 years, reportedly, for the courts to catch up with this backlog of people who have applied for asylum. So essentially, would immigrants who are trying to come in on this changed pilot program essentially be cutting the line?
I'm not sure if they would. I mean, they would be in a different channel, as it were, and we're only talking about a couple of hundred people per month. But you're right, there is a massive backlog right now, and I guess the people who are in that line could have a valid complaint there if they're waiting for their cases to be processed over a period of years.
And for sure, this is only going to involve a small number of immigrants, and then there are only a small number of cities who would welcome those immigrants. Which are they?
They are New York, Boston, Newark, San Francisco, LA, and Miami. And I did that without even looking at my notes. It's just as well I'm prepared.
Impressive. But for sure, there are a lot of questions. This is a pilot program. This is a test. What are the things that they're going to be looking at to see if this could actually work and be expanded?
Principally, I think whether this actually works in speeding up the process. You and Nick both mentioned the massive backlog which clogs up the whole system. And that then creates a whole lot of knock-on effects politically and in other ways, where you have people in the country for years in this limbo where it's not determined whether their asylum cases are well-founded or not. Does this help that? Does it speed things along? And while doing so, does it maintain the integrity of the system so that, you know, people who have legitimate cases are accepted and people who don't are expelled?
Well, and that's what you would hope is happening, because that's the process. But this policy, this particular program, it still faces some legal challenges, including a lawsuit from Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton. He wrote this: federal law requires genuine asylum and parole claims to be carefully managed and scrutinized by an immigration judge. This is his wording, not a bureaucrat rubber stamping patently false claims. So, I mean, is there a case to be made here that this is being done too quickly without the proper process and procedure to see if someone is authentically, genuinely coming here because they fear for their life?
That's certainly the case that Attorney General Paxton makes. His argument is that immigration judges obviously are trained on the finer points of immigration law and knowing what to look for in adjudicating these cases. The Attorney General's argument is that civil servants, essentially asylum officers, aren't trained to that level, are kind of taking powers to themselves that they don't deserve to have. And in that process, in Attorney General Paxton's view, they are making it easier for people to be granted asylum, which in turn would incentivize people to cross the border, to seek asylum, and then to have a life in the United States.
And even if their claim is originally rejected, that they could actually appeal and actually have another judge look at it, or an immigration judge look at that case?
That's correct, and there is a lack of symmetry here, I agree. If the claim is rejected, you can appeal to an immigration judge. If the appeal for asylum is accepted against the advice of an earlier person in the process, that official can't appeal. So the appeal process, in that sense, favors the asylum seeker.
I think people on both sides, Democrats and Republicans, probably wanting to just have everything clarified. What is going to work? What is going to be useful? for so many people seeking to come to this country. Niall, good to see you. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to click on the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.